Back again. We are live again. I just had a session for an hour long, and I am back trying to explain more things. We had a influx of people come in at the very end. Keneal, I know we was having a conversation. In fact, Keneal, man, I don't know what you're doing, man. Hey, join the live, bro. Yeah, appreciate it. Join the live, bro. I don't know how to send you a request, man, but if you're not doing anything or whatever, if you got the time, join the live so we can actually talk face to face. I think that'd be pretty dope, especially surrounding like the topics that we're talking about. Because I know you're very invested in the black neighborhood. I mean, not black neighborhood, but the black community and the uplift and rise of the black people. So I would love if you join the conversation. Yeah. How do you do that, man? I Your request. I don't know. I don't know if you can join. If you can, join. Oh dang. Probably. He's probably at work. Jasmine Kayana. Sorry. Oh, knocking the paper out, so I'm typing and listening. I got you next week though. Appreciate that, man. Um, Appreciate that. Jasmine, Kayana, how you living? Keneal's obviously here. He's been here for a while. Yes, hey. We are doing our second part two, I guess, of today. I usually talk for an hour on my real estate Q&As. On Thursdays, 12 o'clock. Today was at 2. And normally I'll go for an hour, but if we have good questions, good conversation, good dialogue, obviously, Instagram gives me 60 minutes, and if I have to go over the 60 minutes, then I will just create a second live. So I'm doing a second live because we just got off our first one where we had a good conversation going. So I'm just continuing it because I don't have anything to do at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to stay on here and talk more with you guys. So if you have any questions regarding real estate, or if you have any, if you wanted to buy a rental, buy your first house, buy your dream home, get into buying rentals, anything like that, flipping a house, this is the place where you can ask me anything, everything. I'm not a guru, but I do know more than the average Joe, so I like to give you guys this space to actually have these conversations with me. Just like Keneal, he's asked me a question, what's your experience with black contractors? Keneal, you hit me with the day, boy. Oh man. Okay. So my experience with contractors, black contractors to be exact, um, it's been middle of the road. I can't tell you that any one race is better than the other, right? Because all contractors, they all are people at the end of the day, and people do what people do, right? Um, Different nuances and stereotypes with different races when it comes to contractors. But my experience with black contractors has been middle of the road. I've had bad guys. I've had guys that were, just not, bad. I've had some good guys. Um, right now, currently, how many do I actually work with? What's going on, Ashley? Thank you for tuning back in. We did see you on the last one, so I do want to give you some recognition. Um, just like I do anybody that supports the show, or not show, but my lives every week. So, yeah, I've had good guys. I've also had bad guys. And so right now it's kind of been middle of the road. Um, I will say that I've fired more than I've hired. Well, no, I've fired more than I've kept. Right now, I only have two, two black contractors that I've been working with for a while. That's my electrician and that's my plumber. Um, but for the most part, the black contractors, guys that are of color, they seem to know what they're doing. Like I said, I've had my bad experiences, and I've had bad experiences with Hispanic guys, white guys. I've probably hired more black contractors than Hispanic contractors, and I've hired probably more black and Hispanic contractors than white contractors. Um, it just depends on the day. Like I said, there's been bad ones and there's been good ones. What's going on, Stacy? Hey, this is your first time joining. I'm glad you're joining. You can tell Erica Amber that they slacked this week and they should have joined my live. But yes, thank you for joining. Diamond in the Rough Fishing. My boys Tom and Mike, how y'all doing down there, man? Look, hey, y'all give a shout out to Diamond in the Rough Fishing. They are a black fishing crew, man. Down there in Jacksonville, Florida. They got their own boat and they go deep sea fishing. Wish them much luck because red snapper season is upon us. I think it starts tomorrow early in the morning. So my boys are going to be out there in that water for the next 3 days. I think it's 3 days or 2 days. And, I'm trying to hype them boys up so they can get a sponsor. So, yeah, shout out to Diamond in the Rough Fishing. I've been fishing with them multiple times. My boy Diamond, Tom, his dad, and my boy Mike. So much luck to them. Glad y'all joined in, man. I missed the first part. This is Jasmine Kayana. I missed the first part. What's the best way to start getting into investment properties? Great question. If you're looking to get into investment properties, I think the best way you can do, the best way to get into actually getting into investment properties is to actually start. A lot of people talk. As millennials, we know what to do. We know what we should be doing, right? A lot of us want to get into investing. A lot of us want to get into all these things that, we should be doing. But a lot of us do a lot of just this, right? Talking. And whether that's due circumstances or just procrastinating, the best way to get into it is actually doing it. Going, jumping, belly flopping. I belly flopped into investing, and it's been a great journey for me. But the best way I feel like you should do is actually going and linking up with an agent. There's two ways to go about it, right? How do you want to do it? You want to go the market route, where you're going for on-market properties, where you're working with an agent. That agent's help you find a house. That agent helps you buy the house, and you go about it that way. And then you have the off-market way, where it's like, hey, I'm going to create this brand, and I'm going to create this brand name, and I'm going to put forth my own money to find off-market investment deals. A lot more expertise is required, and a lot more tedious, but you can go either way. So if you just wanted to buy a rental property, your first home, I think the best way to go is find you an agent, right? Find you a local agent you trust. Find you an agent that or whatever, that knows the market, and you go start looking at a loan product like like a FHA product, right? FHA loan, and or first time home buyers program. Look at NACA. NACA is a great place to also look at a first time home buyers program. Look at those places, FHA, and get into meeting your local realtors and things like that, and actually start reaching out to folks. Another thing is also just start looking, right? You don't need an agent to start looking at homes. Go to Zillow. I know you guys look at Zillow. Go to Zillow, and start looking at homes, because you have to know what you're looking for. There's so many different type of homes. Jasmine, also, please tell us what market you're in, what area you're looking for a house. I'd like to know that. But yeah, start looking at different homes in your area, right? You don't know what to look for if you don't know what to look for. So when I started looking for my very, 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 very first house, I didn't know what the hell to look for. And my agent started sending me homes that, were all different types of colors, this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay, whoa, this is a lot, right? Once you start looking on your own at different homes, you're going to develop an eye, right? You're going to develop an eye, okay. And then you can start weeding out places that won't fit what you're looking for. Also, determine what your purpose is, right? What is your purpose for this house? Is it just to be strictly a rental? Do you want it to be someplace where you house hack and you live in it for a couple of years and you fix it up yourself and then you go rent it out or go sell it after that? Or do you want to go flip it? Like, what is your purpose? What is your intent? Do you not want to live there? These are some of the things that you need to that you need to ask yourself. What is my intent for this investment property? For me, example, when I looked at my first house, I was like, well, look, I don't want to actually live in this house. I don't want to buy my first house. I want to buy my first house, but I don't want to live in it because I believe myself as a transplant, and I don't want to be held down by a property, and I want to be able to move and shake whenever I want to, whether it's a year after purchasing, 5 years, whatever, right? That was my intent. That was my purpose. That's why I looked at a house that was specifically built for a multi-unit. So that's why I ended up buying a duplex. So find your intent, find your purpose of why what you are looking for and how you want to invest in this property. So I've given you some loan products. I've told you who to consult with, and I've also told you what you can do in your spare time, in your meantime, while you're trying to get all your things together. Also, key thing, go get a pre-approval. You can get a pre-approval today without having to go through a whole bunch of hurdles and hoops. Go get a pre-approval. That's action. Remember, I told you the very first thing: action. Take step. Take action. Go get a pre-approval. It's simple. Call a bank. Call your local bank and ask them, "Hey, what can I be pre-approved for a home?" Right? You're not going to know your buying power until you go call and figure out what you can get pre-approved for when it comes to a loan. So go get a pre-approval. That's one thing that you can do. Uh, I think that's it. A couple other things, but yeah, like that'll get you going, right? And the key thing is keep the momentum, right? It's a large, cumbersome task, but if you start out with those things, finding out your intent, your purpose, start looking at houses on your own, figuring, seeing what you like, what you don't like, um, contacting an agent, and then looking at contacting your local bank for a pre-approval. That is going to be the best way to get started. And once you have that pre-approval and you go to an agent and you say, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, and they say, oh, I can help you. And they say, hey, have you done this, that, and the third? And they see that you've already got a pre-approval. Oh my God, the agent's going to jump on you so fast, right? Because you actually have started the process and made things easier for them. So go ahead and get ahead of the game. All right. In fact, if you come join next week, I want to hear some progress and see what you've done in regards to that list. Also, figure out your financing. What can you afford? What can't you afford? Mortgage calculators are all on Google, right? So yeah, that's where you start. You're very much welcome. Sunflower Beauty 90, how you living? Thank you for joining. I don't know if you've joined before, but welcome. Anyway, if you guys are here, remember, ask me anything, everything regarding real estate. I'm here to answer any of you guys' questions. If you wanted to get into flipping, wholesaling, rentals, how to deal with contractors, property managers, tenants, what to look for when you go inside a house, repairs, estimates, all that kind of stuff. I've done it. I'm here to basically drop those gems on you, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of this knowledge is not readily available for you, and a lot of it is just book information, and most of it that is actually important is learned through experience. And I don't want you guys going out there making $10,000 mistakes. I also don't want you guys going out there paying $10,000 for courses. Not that there's anything wrong with courses, but this is a space where I can give you some of that knowledge for free. This is my give back. This is how I help you guys out as best I can. So every Thursday, 12 o'clock, we do this. I do this, and I have you guys come on. So please feel free to share this thing, take a screenshot, and show your timeline. Show your story. Let folks know that this is a space for talking real estate every week, Thursday, 12 o'clock. I'd appreciate if you guys drop this to your peoples. So yeah, anybody else got any more questions? Like, keep them coming. I like the fact that Jasmine asked about getting into her first investment property. Oh, I missed a comment. We are opting to get an investment property next instead of upsizing for our personal home. Are you planning on staying in that personal home? Here's another thing that's also interesting, right? Because here's another thing if you guys didn't know, right? When you sell your house, you have to pay taxes on that sale, right? One key thing that you can do to mitigate that, if you're planning on buying another house after you've already bought a house, is enroll that sale into a 1031 tax exchange. And what that is it is a mechanism that people use to avoid paying taxes, and the proceeds of your sale for one house roll into the purchase of your next house without being taxed. So if you sell your house for $50,000 and you're trying to go buy $100,000 house, that $50,000 goes directly to that $100,000 purchase without that money being taxed. If you sell your house for $50,000 and you want to pocket that $50,000, Uncle Sam is going to hit you over the head, and it's going to take some of that money. 1031 tax exchange. So, Jasmine, I don't know if you're planning on selling your personal house, but that's something that you could look into if you did want to sell your personal home and buy another bigger home, right? Might not even be relevant, but that is a little tidbit if you guys didn't know about 1031 tax exchanges. Ashley asked a question: what books would you suggest for beginners? I do not read. Not in a bad way. I don't read any books, and I should. That is actually and also let me be really clear with y'all. Like, I keep it as funky as I can on here, right? I don't lie to y'all. I tell y'all like really how it is, like, and really how I, do what I do. Some areas I'm great, some areas I'm not. I'm not the greatest when it comes to organization and bookkeeping. I'm also not the greatest when it comes to like reading books on real estate. I just don't, I don't read a lot of books when it comes to real estate. I look at YouTube University. I am a visual learner. When it comes to books, I tend to get sleepy. I'm not gonna go lie to you. I get sleepy. So, have I read any books about real estate? Not too many. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, always a good book to read. But I really stick to YouTube. So I actually would not have any books for you to read, recommendation wise. I wish I could answer that, but I don't. YouTube channels, yes, YouTube channels. YouTube channels. There's 1,000 and a million YouTube channels. One guy that I will always promote. He's a brother, and he's doing pretty good things. I don't know what I forgot what market he's in because he's in a lot of different markets. But go on YouTube and look up Max Maxwell. Max Maxwell. He's got like a little uh, he's got like a little mohawk thing. Um, but he is actually a very, 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 very big wholesaler in the country. Does a lot of deals. Also look up Rafael Vargas. These two guys are pretty big into wholesaling and or investing in properties. I look at their channels pretty consistently. And they also provide a lot of in-depth knowledge that you probably have to pay for. Look at their podcast. Max Maxwell also has a podcast. He's a good, like I said, if you can't look at the YouTube videos, go look at his podcast. But yeah, I look at those. I look at those guys, their channels specifically, those channels. Any other channels I'm looking at, I'm pretty much it's very topic specific. So I'm just looking to see who knows what regarding the topic that I'm searching. So like when it comes to buying a house or how to talk to a seller about this or that, it's really not channel specific, but more so just who knows that particular topic. But Max Maxwell does go over a range of topics when it comes to investing and getting started in a real estate game, where you can actually pick and choose some of the things or the videos that cater to what you're interested in and watch those. So those are the two guys I would recommend watching. Also download Max's podcast as well. Don't call me Joe. What's going on, man? How you living, brother? How you living? How you living? How you living? How you living? Ashley, by the way, I know you asked me that question about books. What are you trying to get into? Are you trying to buy your first home? You like your actual home? Are you trying to get into rentals, an investment property? What is it? Why are you trying to find books? Joe, this is not the first time you've joined. How you living, brother? If you got any questions, man, you already know what it is. You can ask me anything, everything real estate. I'm here to answer you guys' questions. We are on our second live session of today. I did make a second one because we had you guys joining and everybody was asking great questions. We had good conversations. So I wanted to keep the thing flowing, keep things moving. If you guys don't have any more questions or have any questions, then, obviously I'll end a little bit early, but I am going on my hour and a half. So again, this is just a secondary live that I want to do to extend the conversation from earlier. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask me, drop them in the comments. If you want to join the live, do so, please. One way to share this show, and not show, I don't want to call it a show. Maybe it is a show. Maybe I got to come up with a name or something like that. I didn't know that I could talk this much. But one way to help support and get people to start joining your friends and all that kind of stuff. Remember, this is consistently every day, every Thursday at 12 o'clock, except for today. But one way to do that is just screenshot this, screenshot me right here, right now, or whatever, and then drop it in your story and just put like, hey, caption, Strong Arm Shot hosts real estate Q&A every Thursday, 12 o'clock. Go watch his page, right? That's one way to support, or you can just, I don't know, send it to your DMs. I don't know. I'm not an Instagram guru either. And I'm not really well versed in Instagram besides on how to post a picture and scroll down my timeline. But I do want you guys to I am trying to grow this so I can get more, viewers and things like that because let's face it, everybody wants to buy a house, everybody wants to get into investing, and not everybody has that person that they can talk to or soundboard off of when it comes to these questions that you guys might have or concerns or just thoughts, random thoughts like, what kind of fixtures, what kind of fixtures and things like that should I be putting in my renovation that's for a rental? What kind of things should I be putting into my renovations that's going to be retail value? Good question, right? What's the difference between a GC contractor and a subcontractor? Should I hire a subcontractor? Should I hire a GC contractor? What should I be taking with me when I go on these appointments with my agents to look at houses? How do I evaluate renovation cost when I'm going into these homes and thinking about buying a rental property that I'm going to fix up? Good questions, right? How do I find off-market properties? That's another good question. How do I put an offer in with an agent? These are all good questions that, people tend to want to know but don't want to ask. What about financing? What's the best form of financing? How do I find financing? What is the best way to start? These are some of the things that are good questions that I feel like you guys should be able to ask me if you guys need me. So again, I'm on here as long as you guys want to. I'm on my second session. So if you guys got any questions, I'll keep asking. If not, I will go and I will probably go eat. So I will probably, let's say, if I don't get any more questions in the next 5 minutes, 3:30, I will conclude. If not, we'll keep this going. Remember, ask me anything, everything. Let's see, what other gems can I leave you with if I don't get any questions in 5 minutes? Let's see. There's a lot of good things I could bring up. Let me see. Let's see. Let's do this, right? Let's do renovation costs. When it comes to renovation costs, a lot of you guys, I'm pretty sure, are not contractors. I've friended you guys on Instagram or you friended me, and I've not seen not one person on their title say they're a contractor. And most people believe that if you're looking for a house, that you need to be a contractor or you need to know a lot about contracting to come up with renovation costs when you're looking at these deals. Wayne, you're back again. What's going on, man? It's my brother right there, man. I love you. How you living? So yeah, so a lot of times you might think that you need to know construction or know what it costs to do this or know what it takes to build that in order to come up with renovation costs for your rentals or your prospective homes. You don't have to, right? There's a complete way to figure all this stuff out without being exactly correct because that is not the name of the game at this point in time. When you're working with an agent and your agent is showing you all these hot deals that are popping up on the market and then they're gone within a day or two, right? Why are these deals getting sold so fast, right? Every time we go and see a house is off the market very quickly. These guys are putting in offers like crazy. How are they coming up with these renovation costs so quickly? Why are they coming up in these houses and coming up with these renovation costs and they don't even have a contractor with them? Preparation, right? You don't need a contractor with you, right? If you go with your agent and you go find a house and you guys go look at it and it's a hot deal. Hot deals don't last on the market for more than a couple days, if not a day, right? And you go into that house and you say, I love it. Man, I can do this and that to this house, right? And you say, oh, wait, I got to call my contractor to get him over here tomorrow so he can look and see how much this renovation is going to cost. That is not how you're going to win those deals. The key to finding on-market deals is speed. Speed kills, right? You're going to lose to a guy like me every single time that you feel like you need to bring a contractor with you or call your contractor back to go look at their house to come up with your renovation costs. Here's what you do. You take, oh, what's going on in the know one? How you living, brother? You are a repeat guy. I've seen you here before. You actually DM me, man. I hope you're doing well and you're still interested in buying in Baltimore, because Baltimore is a great place. So, so here's what you need to do when it comes to coming up with those renovation costs quickly, right? The job is not to be exactly correct, right? Your job is to get that offer in as quickly as possible and make it as competitive as possible. So the way I was taught was to not be exactly correct. If you're off a couple thousand here or there, that's fine, right? You're trying to get a general number because you're trying to get your offer in. I'm not saying come up with 20K just willy-nilly and then the renovation is actually 50K. No, I'm not saying that. You got to be a little bit more precise than that. But here's one thing you can do. Go to Google. Google is going to be your best friend, right? And you just start looking up general ideas of what it takes to renovate a house, right? So, you know, what's the cost to finish a basement? The average cost to finish a basement. You know, if Google says $7,000, $5,000, well, guess what? You make it $6,000. Just come up with a general number for each specific thing, right? So windows, general cost for a window. I mean, to replace all windows in a house. Doesn't have to be an exact number, but let's say, remember I told you windows are about $250, $300 per window. So let's say if you go to a house and you see the house needs to replace all the windows, just put a general number on it, $2,000. Quick. You need to be quick with it, right? The point is to be quick. And the reason why I say to be quick instead of exact is usually when you're quick coming up with a number, you're going to be better. You're going to be more right being quick with the numbers than you will be sitting there trying to line item and actually come up with the actual number. It's crazy how it works, but if you guess, the more you guess, the better you guess you get, the more you're going to be closer to the actual number. So you get a general idea on the number, right? So to renovate a basement, right? I'm going to throw it out there, $7,000, right? To waterproof a basement. $5,000, right? To replace all the windows in a house, $3,000. To install a new bathroom, $6,000, right? I'm gonna do it like that. I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna have those values preset in my mind or on a sheet of paper because I Googled before I got there. Like, what are the general costs to do this? What are the general costs to put floors in? You know, to put floors, $3,000, right? Quick. You know what I'm saying? And you want to have those preset numbers. And so when you go into a house and you see that the house needs all new floors, boom, $3,000, right? Okay, $3,000. I write that down. Okay, the house needs all new windows, $5,000. Okay, add that on. That's $8,000 now. Okay, house needs to be painted. $2,000. Yeah, not $2,000. You know, $1,500. Okay, add that on. That's $9,500, right? Let's say a new roof. New roof averages cost, you know, between $6,000 and $8,000. Okay, add another $8,000 on there. That's what, $16,000 or yeah, 16,000. Just like that. You want to be quick. You want to be quick and easy with it, and you don't want to be detailed because the moment you start getting detailed, speed kills. You're gonna lose. And you're going to spend all your time trying to figure out those renovation costs. You're going to lose to guys like me or guys that know what they're doing, right? So that is a way to where you can mitigate that time and without having to call your contractor or have your contractor tag along with you whenever you're going to see these houses. Come up with preset numbers for average cost to do X, Y, Z in houses, windows, floors, painting, roofs, AC, to get an AC installed. $6,000 to $8,000, easy, boom. House needs if you know the house needs a AC unit, boom, just add $6,000 to $8,000 on it. Don't even get into the weeds of it. That's it, right? Because you're trying to come up with that renovation cost to add into your offer price. That's how these guys are going in there and they're winning these deals very, very quickly because they do that and they do it every single time, and they get better at it, and they refine their numbers. So I know you're probably thinking, okay, well, if I just came up with these, guesses of numbers, and, let's say I'm completely very off. Watch this, right? And let's say I've over budget or under budget, and I just put this offer in, and I might have completely messed up the numbers. That's fine. You know why? Because the point is to get your offer in. Once you get that offer in, here's what happens. The contract has to be ratified. No, yes, the contract has to be ratified. How do you ratify a contract? You ratify the contract with signatures, but there's another thing you need to ratify the contract with, and that is a EMD, earnest money deposit. So the contract cannot be ratified if either of those two are not in the agent's hands. So if you put your offer in and the agent say you won the offer, here's the papers to sign to ratify the contract, and you have to give us the deposit. You could sign those papers and the contract not be ratified because you didn't deliver an earnest money deposit. You can't have either or. You can't not have both in order to ratify the contract. So what you do is you get the paperwork signed. You have 24 hours. You have 24 to 48 hours, I believe, to deliver an EMD. You take that time to go back to the property. That's when you bring your contractor. You go back to the property, and you actually get on an Excel sheet and you start line out. That's when you do the detailed budget, right? Your contract, that house is not yours, and you're not legally obligated to that house, nor do you lose that deposit if you haven't delivered the deposit in. How is somebody going to take your deposit if you didn't even deliver the deposit? 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen if you don't deliver deposit within that time frame, you lose out on the deal, and they're going to go give it to somebody else. But if you never delivered the money, how are they going to take it from you? So that's the hack, right? I don't know if it's a hack, but it might be a hack, right? You go and look at houses, you come up with a renovation cost. You got to be quick, speed kills. You get your offer in. Once you get your offer in, then you have 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours to deliver that EMD. You go back to the house. You actually sit in there and you actually start line iteming out stuff and coming up with your budget with your contractor or without your contractor based on your experience. And that's when you figure out, okay, how much over did I go or how much under did I go? Include contingency cost, obviously, as well. 10% is a good cost to include. But if you're right there within those numbers, you're going to be fine. Your numbers don't have to be exact. You just have to come up with you just have to be close. And 9 times out of 10, when you start guessing and then getting good at it, not guessing, but educated guessing and being quicker with the numbers, like throwing out 5,000 for the roof. 6,000 for AC, 5,000 to finish a base. When you start doing it like that, and then you go back and start reevaluating the numbers that you actually gave, you'll actually see that you're closer than you actually thought to the actual number that you came up with when you did the detailed budget, versus when you try to be detailed on the front end and then try to be correct on the back end. Speed kills. Get your offer in, get it accepted. Everything else will flow after that. Remember, you have 24 to 48 hours, I believe, depending on where you're at, to deliver that EMD. The contract is not ratified until that EMD is in that agent's hand. Once that EMD is in that agent's hands and you didn't verify your budget and rerun those numbers, I can't tell you nothing after that. If they take your EMD, they take your EMD. I'm sorry. But I'm telling you, don't turn in the EMD until you verify the renovation cost numbers. Because while that property, while you won that bid and before you deliver that EMD, that house is technically off the market. It's off the market for 24 to 48 hours. So nobody else is going to win the bid because they're waiting on you to turn in your stuff. That's how you deal with that. What's up, Devin? What's up, Wayne? That's very helpful, bro. I've struggled with this concept. Yes, I know a lot of people that struggle with this concept. You do not need a contractor with you. It would be great, but you're also sitting there, contractors come and go, man. They come and go, and, one day you're going to be working with this one guy, and the very next day you probably end up firing him. So every time you go see a house, you got to call the contractor over there. He's got to be free. That's going to take up time. You don't do that. Do not do that. If your contract is free and he can go with you to every single house, by all means, go ahead and do it, right? But if he's coming with you and then you're going to that house and there's 5 other investors in there and he's sitting there trying to take all this time to, no, right? Because chances are those 5 other investors are probably more experienced and they're going to win that bid. And they're going to be having their offers in that day. Run your own numbers also. That's another key. That's another helpful hint, right? Run your own numbers. Don't take agents' numbers. They're helpful, right? They're very helpful, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Always run your own numbers because at the end of the day, that house is going to be your responsibility. It's your property. And if you ran the number, if you took somebody else's numbers and just, said, okay, I believe these numbers, and you end up in that deal and those numbers were wrong and you end up with a bad deal, you can't blame anybody but yourself. So learn how to run numbers, learn how to come up with renovation costs, learn, don't take wholesalers' advice when it comes to renovation costs. Not Take it with a grain of salt, right? With a filter, right? Some guys will give you the right numbers, some guys won't, right? This is just from experience. When it comes to wholesalers and dealing with their numbers, run your own, because I can sit here. I want to sell you a house, right? I want to sell you a house. I want to sell you this contract because I'm trying to make money. So if I sit here and tell you the renovation cost is $20,000, that's my estimate. That's not your estimate. My contractors are not your contractors. My guys don't give you the same prices that they give me, right? So how am I going to say that, the renovation cost is $20,000, and for you, you might use a GC that charges you a premium to get the work done quicker. He might be $10,000 more. So if I say $20,000, and you take it, and your guy says $30,000, you're going to find yourself in a problem. Right? So never trust nobody else's numbers but your own. Learn how to run them yourself and feel confident in the numbers that you give. The more you do this, the more houses you're looking at, the more you try to practice these strategies, the better off you're going to get. I kid you not. I promise you it will work. I promise you it's going to work. So you just have to do it consistently over and over again. If you're looking at different houses, Wayne, I don't know if you look how many houses you're looking at on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, but I'm pretty sure if you're doing it consistently, you're gonna start getting better when it comes to observing the different things in the houses and what to look for. Oh, I need to look at this, or I need to look at that, or oh, this is gonna cost this is gonna cost that, right? What's the average cost to replace a water heater? How much does a water heater cost? Typically, water heaters cost anywhere between $300-$500, right? How much does a plumber charge? Average. Plumber might charge anywhere between $300 to $600, maybe $800 to install a water heater. Okay, so off top, if I have to replace a water heater, I'm spending anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500, maybe. Right? You just want to be close. That's all it is. You just want to be close, right? And so that's how you come up with that concept in an example in which how I've done it or how I learned to do it. So I don't even know if that was even a question, but I definitely just went on a rant. What's up, man? Yes, I need to set a meeting day, man. Yeah, definitely come out here, bro. Baltimore, like I said, I'm here every day. I do this all day regarding real estate. So it's really just like my job. Maintenance requests, calling tenants, dealing with tenants, renovating my own houses, going and seeing properties, talking to sellers, talking to agents, helping folks buy houses. I did just become an agent as well. So I know one of the guys that comes on here weekly, Reggie and Kristen, they're looking at buying some rentals. I took them around Baltimore. Well, I took Reggie around Baltimore the other day, showed him the whole east side and actually where I live, neighborhood where I live, showed him that area, and he loved it. So yeah, man, feel free to put a date together, man, and we can, you can meet me up here, bro, and I can show you around the different spots, and you can let me know some of the places that you're looking to invest in. Brent's out here, steady clocking. He lives out here where I live. He's also an investor in the game as well. Devin, my boy Devin out there in Houston, not Houston, I'm sorry. He's out there in Texas. Might be in Houston. I don't know. Devin's all over Texas. But yeah, Devin, please stay safe out there, brother. Hope you're doing well. Devin showed me a house one time on Zoom because Devin's my line brother, and he showed me a house in Texas that was immaculate with a bunch of land. And sure enough, I asked him the price, and it was a price that I was completely shocked because in different regions, especially the South, land properties are cheaper and you can typically get bigger homes. Everything's bigger in Texas. Dallas, yes, Dallas. Yeah, man, that house is pretty dope, man. So actually, I want to know, like, are you trying to get into wholesaling? Because I know we talked about it. I don't know how the Dallas market is. I'm assuming it's an expensive market. Um, but like, what is the main thing that goes on out there? Is there a lot of flipping going on out there? Is it a lot of gentrification? Like, what's going on in Dallas? Let me know because I don't know. And plus, I've never been in Dallas. I do want to go. Not for the Cowboys, unfortunately, because Cowboys suck. But uh, I wouldn't mind going to Dallas and checking out their market. I also know Austin's a pretty good market too. Let me know. Wayne, who else we got here? I guess my second session. Oh yes, flipping. All right, so when are you gonna get in? When are you gonna get in the game, man? Is there a lot of wholesalers out there? Is it an oversaturated market like it is here in Baltimore? Not sure wholesale is best right now during COVID though. Um, Agree and disagree. I agree because yes, there is some face to face. There's a lot of face to face when it comes to wholesaling and trying to connect with folks and things like that. So anything regarding real estate where I got to go to your house, like I had to do this morning, went to somebody's house, it's going to be definitely tricky. But the other side where I do say no is that virtual wholesaling is a thing. There's guys that not that wholesale homes without even seeing them in different cities. I don't do that because that requires a level of expertise that I'm just haven't built out yet for my systems. I'm just not ready for that. But it is definitely possible, but not going to be possible. Not going to be it's going to be more tough if you're just starting out because to learn the nuances of how to evaluate the numbers and how to talk to the sellers and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff is built in person. There are guys that you can go pay for their coaching programs and they'll show you how to wholesale remotely. Don't know if that's a route you want to go, but a lot of this stuff is actually built up in person experience wise. And if you don't have a strong buyers list, you got to have a buyers list. You can develop your buyers list online. Um, you're not going to be able to sell a lot of homes, but you can definitely wholesale without actually with limited contact with people. But I would suggest if you are starting out and you are wholesaling, you actually want to go to the properties. And there are people, trust me, there are people that are still calling and still saying, I want to sell my house and still will show you their home. Prime example this morning. Somebody called me and said, hey, I got a house I want to sell. I said, cool, I'm going to come out. Let's meet on Thursday at 11:30. And I went and saw the house. People wear masks. You go and do your thing. Is it safe? 100% no. But are people still doing it? Yes. Um, but yeah, virtual wholesaling is a thing. People do that. I don't do that. Look at like Rafael Vargas. I know he does a boatload of virtual wholesaling. And virtual wholesaling is basically where you're gonna have, you're gonna set up your marketing and you're gonna market to a specific area. You're gonna get people to call you, incoming calls. They're gonna say, I want to sell a house. And instead of going to that house because you're in a different location or restrictions to COVID, you actually don't. You can do two things, right? The first thing you can do is actually run the numbers on the phone while they're on the phone. That's going to require you to have a script, right? And while you're working that script, you're also evaluating the deal online, searching it, researching, running numbers while you're online, while you're on the phone with them, and you're giving them an offer while they're on the phone. You can pull, there's ways to see the property without actually seeing the property, right? And that comes with your script and then the kind of questions that you're asking. You need as detailed of questions as possible, right? Because you can see the outside of the house, but you don't know what's going on the inside, right? And you're wholesaling this house too. So certain questions, hey, have you done any upgrades or improvements over the last 5 years? Oh, okay, if so, what were they? Right? Oh, it's a lipstick upgrade, lipstick, cosmetic upgrades. Okay, does that mean carpet, paint, that kind of stuff, or was it a major renovation? Did you knock down walls? Did you add HVAC, central AC? Certain questions like that is going to paint a picture of what the actual outside looks like. Is it previously rented? All that kind of stuff. These are the questions you want to ask up front, right? And these are what you can ask over the phone. While you're doing that, you're also running the numbers. You're pulling the comps. Maybe if you guys don't have access to the MLS, if you're not an agent, you're running the comps on Zillow or Redfin or any of those places, and you're actually presenting an offer to them on the phone. And then if they accept that offer on the phone, you send them a contract via DocuSign and have them sign electronically. Once they sign, you have your contract for your house. All you have to do is go find somebody to sell that to buy that contract. How do you do that, right? You pull the Google images off of Google, right? Or maybe you have a runner in that city, or if you're in that city yourself, you go in yourself, you take pictures of the outside, or if you ask the owner, hey, do you have pictures of the inside of the house? I just need it for record keeping and to make sure I've seen everything that's going on inside the house. You take those pictures and you bundle it together and you go blast that thing out and go try to sell that contract. I just showed you how to wholesale virtually. That's how you do it. I don't do it. I don't even do it, but that's how you wholesale virtually. Because I know, the game. But that's how you can do it without, actually going and doing the physical appointment. What I do is I go put my mask on and I actually go do the physical appointment. I actually go see the house. There's no rhyme or reason to either or. I just know that that's how you can do it virtually, which is what a lot of people do. And when you go and trying to sell that contract, you go put it on Facebook, you go put it on meetup.com. Maybe you've got a agreement with an agent to where, they will post your wholesale deal on the MLS. Maybe you worked out a flat fee. Hey, I need you to post my wholesale deal on the internet. I mean, not on the internet, but on the MLS. I'll give you $500, or I'll give you 2% of my proceeds. I've done that before. I've utilized agents to put my deals on the MLS, right? And it's really not. It's up to the agent, right? Because you have to. You can't just wholesale willy nilly on the MLS. You actually have to say what you have to state that this is a wholesale deal or assignment contract on the MLS, and the broker has to approve it, right? Just because the agent wants to do it doesn't mean the broker is going to allow that in their establishment. Most bigger brokerages are not going to allow their agents to put wholesale deals up unless they just have some cool managers or stuff like that, or the manager is okay with making a little bit of money. And most of the time, agents or brokers are not going to be posting your deals on MLS without getting some type of cut. So you got to remember that too. I remember there was a point in time before I was an agent where I would get deals on the contract to try to wholesale, and I knew an agent that I was very cool with that was okay with listing my my wholesale properties on the MLS, but she had a flat rate fee. So if I'm planning on making $10,000 on an assignment contract, and I know that I got to cut my agent in, a 10% or 25%, that's going to eat into my profits. But I'll take that any day versus me only marketing on Facebook Meetup or Craigslist or whatever and not selling the deal because it didn't get into as many eyes as possible, and then I don't make any money. So some money is better than no money. The object of the game is to have as big of buyer's list as possible and to get the deal in front of as many people. The MLS across the nation is the premier place where you're going to find agents. Where agents post deals. Nobody, if you're not an agent, you're not going to have access. So all the deals that you guys see that are on market, they come from the MLS. That's how you're going to get the maximum exposure, because every agent in that state can see that deal. When they're searching for properties for their clients, guess what? They're looking on the MLS, right? The MLS is where all these third-party websites get their information. It's accurate, it's precise. Zillow, Redfin, all of them pull their information from the MLS. So MLS is king. If you're a wholesaler, you can get your deal on the MLS. Hey, do it, because your objective is to sell as quickly as possible. And you don't want to get that house under contract, can't sell it, and then have to have that conversation with the client telling them, hey, I can't buy this house, or hey, I couldn't sell your house. Or maybe if you weren't truthful with them that you were wholesaling the house, hey, I told you I was buying your house and I actually can't buy it because I tried to sell it and I couldn't sell it. That's not a good conversation to have. I've had those conversations. They're not good. What's up, Amber Portia 30? How you doing? Thank you for joining. I don't even know why I even got off on that topic, but I don't even know if that was a question. But anyway, still good gems for you guys if that's something that you guys have run into. We're talking about wholesaling in Dallas. So yeah, again, every day, if you guys are new, every Thursday, 12 o'clock, real estate questions Q&A. This is part 2 of today. I did have one live session already that I put up, and then we had a good conversation, so I ended up transitioning over and making a new live session. We got about 5 minutes left, so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. If not, please support the show. The way to support the show is screenshotting me right now, and then posting it on your story and tagging me and telling folks to, hey, come join Shad, Strong Rashad's real estate question Q&As every Thursday at 12 o'clock. Everything real estate. If you guys had any interest, if you guys want to get anything, wholesaling, flipping, rentals, whatever it is, maybe you're in the process of buying a house, I want to hear about it, share it. Please let me know. These are the things that we talk about here. And I just want to create this safe space for you guys to be able to ask those questions and not necessarily being charged for it or having to enroll in a course. There's nothing wrong with those things, but sometimes you have 1 or 2 questions or 3 questions that you don't want to have to pay $10,000 to get the answer for. So that's how I'm helping you guys. So it doesn't seem like we got any more questions. Plus, we're coming up on another hour, which I didn't think we'd do today. So that's 2 hours I've dedicated on live to you guys and answering real estate questions and talking just real estate. I actually have to go to the bathroom. So, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you guys for joining. Remember, next week, Thursday, for our 8th week in a row, we've been doing this thing consistently. Thank you again. Remember, real estate Q&A every Thursday, 12 o'clock. Share it, screenshot this, show it to your people, show it to your friends so next week they can join. If you have any questions, remember to bring them to next week, or if you come up with anything that you want to see next week, bring it next week, and we'll talk about it. So thank you guys again for joining. I appreciated your time, and go take action, please.